De las olas llega a Miami su esencia, su tradición, su mezcla. Olas que mecen y azotan. Olas que en 1999 engendraron la que sería la fotografía más dramática de la época, la historia del apodado balserito. 20 años después, volvemos a ella.
We were out like 5 o'clock in the morning. I showed up at my cousin's house, and he said, "We're not going to go fishing." He goes, "The waves are too high out there. We'll take a ride out on the intercoastal, and you'll see that it's going to be too wild out there." So as I get in behind the wheel of the boat and begin to navigate our way out to the intercoastal, and as I'm riding and I'm looking, and all of a sudden I said, "Like that inner tube over there?" My cousin said, "Yeah, go on over by the inner tube." He goes, "There's probably some fish around there." We were never really that close to it. I see a body laying on this inner tube. So I yelled at my cousin, "There's somebody on the inner tube." And my cousin came immediately to the front. He goes, "Oh, come on, don't joke with me." I said, "I'm not joking. There's somebody." He looks and he goes, "Oh, somebody tied a doll to the inner tube. Come on, let's get out of here." As I came around, I don't know how, we made our way back to the same place, and there was the inner tube again. And I said to my cousin, "The hand just moved, the hand moved." And before I could blink my eyes, I'm looking for my cousin, and he's in the water. And he's deep in the water, and he's screaming out, "It's a baby." And I'm reaching over in the water, almost falling into the boat because the waters were so rough, to grab the child from the inner tube, and he pushed him up.
He pushed him up.
Yes, and I reached over and pulled. It was a joint effort between both of us. So he had the most saddest look on his face, and I looked and I said to him, "Are you okay?" And he said to me, he didn't answer me, and I said, "Tu hablas español?" And the boy said, "Sí." And you could see the cry look on his face, and he just grabbed me and he held on to me. You know, most likely he was out there for a long time. He was dehydrated. That he was by himself for 24 hours by himself.
Era Elián González, de 6 años, cuya embarcación al escapar de Cuba había volcado, muriendo su madre y casi todos sus pasajeros. Donato lo había salvado. Ahí empezaron una gran relación. También comenzó una crisis política. Los cubanos de Miami insistían que Elián se quedara en Florida. El padre de Elián, apoyado por Fidel Castro, exigió al gobierno estadounidense que fuera devuelto, que su lugar estaba en La Habana. 4 meses después, el agente especial James D. Goldman fue comisionado para extraer al apodado balserito de esa casa en Miami.
There was a huge crowd of belligerents that were maintaining a constant vigil there and protesting. We had intelligence information that there were armed security officers protecting the family and on the property. The crowd swarmed us. The family barricaded the door and wouldn't let us in. Our agents were assaulted. We did meet organized resistance. People did form lines and barriers and tried to fight us to prevent us from getting to the front door.
There was a lot of people in the house there that night, and I fell into a deep sleep on the sofa.
Elián right in front of you.
Yes, Elián right, on a sofa right in front of me, not far away. Here it was, 5 o'clock in the morning. I slept for 5 hours not knowing it. And all of a sudden, I thought I was dreaming. I heard, "Get down or we'll shoot." And there was Elián right there. He was screaming. Anybody in that house should have been able to grab him, but for some reason, people were running around that house like a chicken with their heads cut off. You know, they were banging on the door. And the next thing you know, my natural instinct kicked in, and I ran over and I grabbed Elián into my arms, crying, "Elián in my arms."
And I banged on the door and I identified myself in English and in Spanish, and I said, "We're special agents from the INS." They resisted. They would not open the door. As a matter of fact, they pushed furniture up against the door, and after several commands, they refused to open the door. So I then had to signal the breach team to take the door down.
All of a sudden, the door bust open, and there's federal agents with these assault weapons. He asked, "Give me the child."
you would have liked to avoid that kind of image, or it was impossible?
Impossible. There's nothing inappropriate with that. That muzzle is pointed off, his fingers outside the trigger guard. Stayed with him until we handed him to his father, where I physically handed him to his father. Tremendous reunion. I mean, the father and son embraced and cried. They stayed in that embrace for 5 or 6 minutes.
La foto, 20 años después. El exagente especial, galardonado por el éxito del operativo, saca de su archivero el plan de ese día.
That was the situation, and then you go with mission, execution.
De vuelta en Cuba, el balserito, Elián González, ese símbolo de la crisis ideológica, política, crecería convertido en hijo predilecto del régimen cubano, a menudo al lado de Fidel Castro.